Hi, boys and girls. So, today, in case you missed our live Zoom class this morning, what we did was we read this book called The Busy Beaver. And afterwards, we went on Pebble Go and looked up information about beavers and also looked at a nonfiction ebook that is available about beavers. So, first, we are going to start off and we're going to listen to the story called The Busy Beaver by Nicholas Oldland.
The Busy Beaver by Nicholas Oldland. There once was a beaver who was so busy that he didn't always think things through. This beaver's carelessness was becoming a problem. His dams leaked, and he always made a mess of the forest. He left trees half chewed, and, worse, he felled more than he needed. Perhaps worst of all, the beaver went about his work with so little thought that a tree landed right on top of a bear. And once he even chewed a moose's leg thinking it was a tree. The beaver was just that careless. It was only a matter of time before something went terribly wrong. Sure enough, one day the beaver was so busy chewing on a tree that he failed to notice it was falling in his direction. The beaver woke up in the hospital with a bent tail, 2 broken limbs, 3 cracked ribs, 4 big bruises, 5 sprained fingers, 6 twisted toes, 7 little cuts, 8 stinging scratches, 9 sore muscles, and 10 nasty slivers. He had spent his entire life chewing, swimming, and building. He had never sat still for a second. Now he could barely even scratch his nose. At first, all the beaver could do was stare at the ceiling. But little by little, he began to heal. With lots of rest, he regained his strength, and before too long, he was trying out a pair of crutches. Eventually, the beaver was able to hobble over to the window. This was the first time he noticed his leaky dam, the mess of trees he had left half chewed, his friends' bandages, and a family of homeless birds. He realized he had a lot of work to do. The next day, the beaver embarked on a rigorous rehabilitation program. He got back on his feet, did lots of yoga, and lifted weights. While he was at it, the beaver caught up on some important reading and practiced saying, "I'm sorry." Soon enough, he was ready to go home. The beaver's friends were a little worried about his return to the forest, but despite their concerns, the beaver went straight to work. Before the beaver started his first project, he did a full tree inspection, checked to see if there were any animals in harm's way, and carried a frightened caterpillar to safety. Then the beaver went ahead and built the family of homeless birds a new nest. Next, the beaver apologized to his friends for being careless and causing so much damage. To show that he meant it, he made the bear a vase for his den, and he built a canoe for the moose. The beaver's final task was to clean up the mess he had made in the forest. He hauled off the trees he had left half chewed, used the broken branches to fix his leaky dam, and planted saplings to replace the trees he had felled. With the forest back in order, everyone was happier, including the beaver. His work done, the beaver got to thinking about what he might do next. He came up with lots of ideas as he got ready for bed that night. Maybe he would take a course on dam building, or start a band and go on tour, or take more naps. The beaver liked this idea best. Being busy doing good work was exhausting. With a yawn, the beaver laid his head down on a soft bed of leaves and fell right to sleep. All that was left for the beaver to do was dream.
So, boys and girls, I hope you like that story about the beaver. I think it's adorable. So, now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some nonfiction information about beavers. So, let's go to the library's homepage. So if you're at Assawamsut's homepage, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, departments, library webpage. And now we're going to click on our first link called Pebble Go. So once we click on our first link, this time, instead of clicking at the pictures and drilling down, we are actually going to type our search at the top. So we're going to start to type in beaver. And if you notice, once you do, it's pre-populated. So you can just click on beavers. And now this is what we usually see when we go on Pebble Go in our library. I want to show you the cute video of a real beaver. So here he is chewing on some wood. He's so cute. Look at his little hands. Oh my goodness. Okay, so there's our beaver. And to get out of the video, you just click on the X. Now, if you remember, you can go through and listen to this later on your own. Just click the sound button and it will play it for you. It gives you information on its body, its habitat, where it lives in lodges, just like our beaver in our book, what food it eats, the life cycle, some fun facts. But this is the new part I wanted to show you, this purple tab that says read more. If you click on this, right over here, these are 2 ebooks about beavers. This one is completely about beavers. This one has beavers in it. So let's look at this right here with beavers. And then all you need to do is just click on play book. We'll just give this a second to load. This will also read it to you as well, but I'm just going to go through and highlight some of the information in it. So this book is Canadian Symbols, which gives me a clue that beavers are pretty important in Canada. So it is a symbol for Canada about beavers, emblems and symbols, busy as a beaver. So let's just take a quick look. So here's a good picture of a real beaver. Again, it's a nonfiction book. Here he is in the water. Here, you remember in our story how he is actually like cutting trees? Well, this tree was gnawed on by an actual beaver, which is kind of fun to see. So they live in lodges, and they make their lodges out of mud and branches, just like what our friend in our story was doing. This talks about how beavers are also part of symbols in Canada as well. And they're even on their money too, which is kind of neat. And the term busy as a beaver, well, that's because beavers, they stand for handwork. And they work very hard, and they always seem to be busy. And here's some more information about Beaver Scouts. And then, because this is a nonfiction book, this is our glossary at the end of the book, which gives you important definitions. So this is pretty much what we covered, boys and girls, today in our live session. So I'm glad you were able to see it. Don't forget to click on the participation form and fill it out and give yourself credit that you watched the recorded video lesson. All right, thanks. See you next time.